I want to verbally acknowledge a couple comments that I'm getting repeatedly, because I think most of the comments that I'm getting are repeats, and I've been trying to just type out my answer to each individual comment when I could just do this instead. The first thing that, first of all, I would say about half of the people understand where I'm coming from, and they understand all the nuance in what I'm saying. They don't make assumptions. They understand where I'm coming from, which is so refreshing and so sweet and nice. And honestly, I'm always shocked at how positive the response from men is. I mean, from everyone but men, when I record and post a video that can, on the surface, feel like it's anti-men, when those of you who know that it's not anti-men. I think it's so refreshing and healing that I can express my feelings and thoughts and be understood and feel empathy and sympathy coming from men. Like, that is so healing. So I'm super happy and grateful and surprised that I had such a positive response. I think it's mostly positive, but these are the negative comments. And yes, I am recording in my car again. Ooh, awkward pauses. All right. The thing that most people, the negative comments is, well, first of all, they're always assuming things. Like, they're constantly assuming things that I've never said or talked about, which is always extremely annoying. That's the most annoying part of all of this, is people who assume things. And the main thing that I've been trying to explain is that everything that I expressed in my previous videos, those are belief systems that I created as a teenager and early adult that I'm now trying to dissect and work through and heal from and change. Because something that I don't think people picked up on is that everything I expressed, I don't think is healthy. I don't think it's a healthy view of men or sexuality in general. And it's not where I want to end up. So I was explaining that if I'm like 50 years old, or even in a couple years, and I still have these beliefs and these belief systems, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing. That's unhealthy. It's another thing is, I don't believe that my thoughts and feelings currently are an actual reflection of reality. I don't think that what I said was the reality of all men. I was expressing those because they're mostly feelings and thoughts based on anger, based on experiences and disappointments. And I explained all that. I tried to explain it. So yeah, it's not, and then this kind of leads me into the next thing. It's not, I don't believe it's all men. Not at all. And that's the most common comment that I got, even from supportive comments. And I totally get that. I get that you want to say that. And I actually said that in my video at the last part. Like, I think it's something like 22 minutes in. I was saying, I understand it's not all men. So I do know that. And actually, I have a list on my phone that I just looked up again to make sure I had it. I've created a list, a physical list on my phone of men that I know personally in my life who I believe to be good men. And they include people I know personally, and they also include people that I've heard of. Like, one of the examples, and this is like the best example I could ever say, is Robert Irwin. He's Steve Irwin's son, and obviously I don't know him, but everything I've ever seen of him, he like warms my heart. Like, that is a good person just in general, like the sweetest of sweet. And when I talk about men, I know it sounds like I'm generalizing, but I always am just mentally excluding men like Robert Irwin, like, who's just so obviously sweet. And like, the other thing was I had so many comments from men that were so caring and considerate and empathetic and kind, where like, oh my gosh, what amazing examples of men. And some men were saying like, this helps me to understand a woman's experience and it helps me to be a better man. That's amazing. I mean, what a good example. So I know that like it's hard to take a video like what I was saying, and I know it sounds so negative, but I wasn't trying to say it like as this crazy generality of generalizing all men into one category. I mean, the other thing is, even though it's very based on anger, I do, like, I'm not taking away all of the validity of what I was saying. I do actually believe that there are guys like that. And then, but it's obviously not all, and I'm still trying to work out how many men are like that. I also want to explain, I got this a lot in my comments. I got a lot of guys saying, why are you angry that a guy thinks you're attractive? Or like, yes, obviously men will find women attractive and there's nothing wrong with that. Or what's wrong with men finding women attractive? And the answer is there's nothing at all wrong with that. That's not at all what I was saying. It's a massive compliment that a man thinks you're attractive. That's great. And that's honestly what I love. Like, I want my boyfriend to be attracted to me, and I want my boyfriend to be sexually attracted to me, obviously. The bad part of this is, what do you do with your sexual attraction to a stranger, a woman? Like, how do you control that urge or not control that urge? And where do your thoughts go? I know that's really personal, but I personally think that there's something wrong with looking at a stranger. Well, first of all, making her feel uncomfortable. That's the one thing that I was saying was horrible and I don't appreciate, is men making me feel uncomfortable all the time, daily. Like just today, I look over, this happens every single day, I look over and there's a man in the car next to me staring at me at a stoplight. Literally, at almost every single stoplight, a man's head is turned all the way, staring at me, and there's nothing I can do. What can I do? I can't move because I'm at a stoplight. Okay, I won't get into that. But that's the perfect example of like, I can't get away from it. I can't get away. And that's, yeah. So making women feel uncomfortable, and then your thoughts going straight to mentally undressing her, picturing her naked, and picturing what you want to do to her. I don't appreciate that. Like, and if this is not you, which many men have explained to me that that's not where their thoughts go, then that's great. That's wonderful. That gives me so much hope. And I want to reiterate that all these comments were giving me hope. Like, so many men telling me that's not the case. Like, I am looking for love. That's wonderful. That gives me lots of hope. And I knew that they were out there. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with being attracted to a woman, but think about how you're responding to that attraction. Are you making her feel uncomfortable? Are you being respectful or disrespectful? Are you treating her like a human in spite of being attracted to her? Because I think when you are attracted to someone, you just dehumanize them immediately instead of talking to them and treating them as a human. And I feel like I can't say anything, but I truly feel that way all the time, like that I am dehumanized. And I think a lot of women feel that way. So yeah, that's that answer. Another person was like, or many comments are pointing out, what's the difference between you looking at a man shirtless and being attracted to him? Like, that's the same thing. But as I just kind of previously went over, it's not the same thing. I was a 5-year-old looking at that guy, and I had like an innocent, pure, sweet crush. Just a little cute little crush. Like, And that comes from like an innocent place, where like if that guy paid attention to me, like smiled at me or said hi, I'd just be like, oh, like it's all cute. Whereas men the kind of men that I was talking about, it's more filthy. Like you're thinking filthy thoughts, and it's not love based, it's not like based, it's not crush based. Like you don't have a crush on these people. It's just, what would you like to do to that person? And again, that's not a reflection of all men, and I should have just said that every other sentence in my other video. I'm not talking about all men. I'm not. Yeah, so that, hopefully that kind of clears things up. Like even now, I've said this in comments in my responses. When I know I'm in a relationship now, so when I was single and I was checking out people, I would look at their face and I'd be like, oh, he's handsome, which rarely happens. And I don't think about what I would like to do to them. My thoughts are always just like, oh, I would like to get to know them better. I would like to hold their hand. I would like to spend time with them and talk with them. Like those kinds of thoughts. But anyway, and I mean, I don't know. There's nothing even wrong with having thoughts. Like even you can have sexual thoughts for someone if you like them or whatever, but it's just about how you choose to respond. That's kind of the point I was making. And I have a long ways to go, because I would like to be able to feel positively about male sexuality in general. Yeah, there's so much in this, but another thing is, a lot of the reason I was recording that was to try to work through my feelings towards sexuality in general, not just male sexuality, because I was raised to believe that sex was bad, sex was a sin, and it still feels wrong and bad to me a lot of the time. And I'm trying to get to the place where I can see it as like a beautiful thing and a mutual thing, because often I feel like it's something that is, well, I was taught that it was something that's for men, and that I am for a man, and my job is to give myself to a man, and that I don't have any right to feel good or pleasure at all. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, is just like anger from that as well, that like, wait, nobody ever told me that I could also enjoy it, or that I should also enjoy it. That's another thing, another aspect. I'm trying to think, there was a couple more things I wanted to talk about, but I guess I tried my best to address it just now. I don't know. I appreciate the kind comments. I'm gonna keep responding, and I'm glad I posted that video. Yeah, I think everyone is valid. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of other comments saying women are bad too, or women are this way, or you don't know anything about what women do to men, or anything on the women's side. And to that I say 100%, unless you're like a red pill black pill person. Yeah, that's true. Women are what can be bad, and that's what my other video was about, my other man video from a couple years ago. That I'm just now learning that women, well, the last couple years I'm learning and accepting that women can also be bad, and I totally accept that as fact now. And I know a few examples, but I was talking about my experience, and I am a woman, so my focus and experience is going to be as a woman and focused on men, because that's my dating pool. That's something I wish everybody understood. Like, I'm talking about men because I'm a straight woman and the dating pool is men. So that's just how it is. And that's why a lot of men talk about women, because it's just the opposite. I'm not ever trying to invalidate your experience. I really am not. And I'm not trying to demonize male sexuality in the least. It's about, oh yeah, okay, I'm just gonna switch over. This is the other thing I was trying to say, is that along the lines of how you respond to being attracted to a woman, I wish so badly that instead of men just staring at a woman or making her feel uncomfortable or being just straight up disrespectful or crude or lewd or filthy, saying things, catcalling, I wish that men would be gentlemen again. Like, and I know I'm generalizing again. I know there are gentlemen, but I wish all men were gentlemen, where they, like, I haven't gotten a compliment from a man, like a nice compliment. I literally can't think of any in the last many years, like the last 5 years. Like, unless it was, I don't know, I can't think of a single one, because it doesn't happen. Because for some reason, men choose to just stare, make you uncomfortable, catcall, versus smiling at you, saying hello, talking to you like a human being, asking how you're doing. And I know I'm not saying strangers go up to women and do these things. I'm just saying, when the situation is appropriate and you might have a little small talk with a girl or some sort of appropriate situation, why not try, like, being nice instead of aggressive? Or just, like, not caring how you're making someone feel. I wish I could come up with a good example, but literally, here's just a nice example. This is something men do for me a lot, which is open doors for me. Just open doors for women. And I know, like, men are like, I can't open a door because women get mad and feminists this and whatever. I consider myself a feminist. I do. And I love when men open the door for me. I find it very respectful and very kind and very gentlemanly. And just treating me like a human and showing respect. Like, maybe it all comes down to showing respect, but mostly, like, I tried to get to it in my other video too, but just smiling at a woman, like, I don't get a friendly smile from any man within 20 years of my own age range. I don't get a single, like, kind, friendly smile for months and months and months. And I said in the other video, it really is like once a year or once every 6 months that a man around my age smiles at me in a very obviously kind and respectful and friendly way, like, without the sexuality attached. And another thing is, a lot of my frustration in the other video was coming from the fact that I wish that I could currently have interactions with men my age, like interactions with all men that were just purely friendly and kind and, like, small talk and just talking about the weather, like, have these exchanges with strangers that men can have with other men, or I guess women can have with other women. Just, like, these, like, sweet, small talk, kind, friendly exchanges. But I've gotten to the point where, because I know what men are always thinking, or I think that I know what men are always thinking about me, I can't have those friendly, kind, chit-chat conversations with people in the street. Like, everybody talks about how women are kind of like bitches in public. And it's because you have to be. Like, I've been kind and friendly so many different times, and it turns around and bites me, where I have, like, unwanted advances where someone thinks it's a green light, and it's just like, can you for once just try to not see me in that way? Can you just see me as a person and have, like, a friendly conversation with me, and then we go about our days? Like, I just want friends. I want to be friendly. Like, literally, the frustration is I want so badly to be friendly towards everybody, especially, or including men. But I can tell, like, within the first glance at a man, that he sees me as, like, either a dating or sexual opportunity. And I just can't stand that. Like, I used to be able to talk with guys in, like, a chill, casual way. Anyway, I kind of sort of badly addressed every single one of the comments that are bothering me. And I'm going to post this as well, just for kicks and giggles, because I've been avoiding my channel for too long, and I like to train myself to not take it seriously. Like, just click record, don't edit, and post, because that's better than not posting anything at all. I might delete it if I listen back and feel like it sounded like an